The following 3 statements are all libelous. Anne Robinson drowns kittens in acid as a warm-up for The Weakest Link. Simon Cowell and Ashley Cole are both gay, and all homeopathists are lying, crooked snake oil salesmen. Now, as far as I'm aware, all of those statements are false and libelous. Although I'm not entirely convinced that they're not true, and let's face it, neither are you. The point is, had I made any of those statements without pointing out that they were all libelous, I could be sued, quite reasonably, you might think. I mean, where would she get that much acid from? To protect the reputation of a person or organisation from baseless attacks in law seems like a reasonable thing to do, up to a point, unless the organisation happens to be BT Broadband, in which case the attacks are not baseless. But if any of them did sue me for libel, it would be presumed not that I am innocent until proven guilty, but that I am guilty of lying, and must now prove that what I have said is true. In a libel case, the defendant's words are assumed to be false, and it's on the defendant to show that they're truth, the so-called reverse burden of proof, which can also be found in the Kama Sutra and involves a wardrobe. Now, what actually is libel? Well, if you're Dick Van Dyke, it's the sticker on a jar of jam.
Goodness me, Mary Poppins! Someone's labeled this jam jar wrongly. It was sitting on the table and the label's all to cock. This label says strawberry when it should say chim chim cherry.
But libel's actually a published false statement that is damaging to a person's reputation. Now, false and defamatory statements are made all the time, particularly in my house when the dishwasher's been poorly loaded or the internet history's recently been erased. But for the most part, people don't sue for libel because they can't be bothered, or they can't afford to, or to do so would damage their reputation further, or they simply haven't noticed that they've been defamed, so they let it go. It's roughly the same principle as when someone screams,
"Leave it, Terry, he ain't worth it!"
and a needless fight is avoided round the back of Weatherspoons. But the law, as it stands, makes it very easy, particularly for large and often well-funded organisations, to silence any questions raised about what they do or how they do it. Questions which, when it comes to, say, science or medicine, I think are fairly important. Dr. Simon Singh raised a number of issues he has regarding some of the healing claims made by chiropractic therapists, and is being sued using our weird libel system at the moment by the British Chiropractic Association. They were offered the chance to respond to his article with evidence supporting their claims in the same paper that Singh used to claim they were promoting bogus treatments, but for some reason they have instead decided to sue him personally for libel. Now, what I find odd about this is that at no point are the British Association of Gyrocopters, or whoever they are, being asked to show that what they claim to be able to do is backed by scientific evidence. Because it's not really about fighting for the truth, this, apparently. I thought that would be how this went. You know, you say about me, and I say, no, is not true, and I can prove it. And when is proved to be false, then you have to admit that was not true, and say sorry for saying, and if appropriate, pay me money for briefly making people think was true before I proved it wasn't. Good result. Is proved to be false, and you'll know better than to say again, which we now know to be a lie. But, well, yeah, it would be nice, wouldn't it? But that's not how it works. In our system, you say about me, and I say, well, that'll cost you £500,000 and probably several years of your life, please. You settle out of court, and the truth is never even discussed. And because it's so expensive to take this sort of thing to court, it almost never gets there. So the law stays weaker than a French cup of tea, and free speech and vital inquiry is intimidated into silence, while anyone thinking might be factually accurate is too scared to raise it again. London has now become known as the libel capital of the world. Even a simple comment published abroad concerning someone in another continent altogether can be tried in London if any part of that publication or broadcast becomes available here. That is insane. And it matters to me because we miss out on the South Park episode showing how bonkers the cult of Scientology is, in which Tom Cruise is persuaded to come out of a closet. Our legal system is choked with international chances exploiting the fact that our politicians, as yet, haven't had the courage to change libel laws that make about as much sense as the plot of Lost. Now, by the way, if that show doesn't conclude with something absolutely breathtakingly clever and explanatory, I am going after the writers as a livid, ticking column of angry black smoke, and I will be flinging people up trees. Why does any of this libel stuff matter to anybody anyway? Well, because anything that we've got that's any good got good because of free inquiry and criticism. Without that, we would never have had the internet, the George Foreman grill, shoes with flashing lights in them, MP3 players, democracy and bacon. To quote the libel reform website, freedom to criticise and question in strong terms and without malice is the cornerstone of argument and debate, whether in scholarly journals, on websites, in newspapers or elsewhere, which I agree with apart from the bit about doing it without malice. See, I have on several occasions referred to the illusionist David Blaine as a git wizard. A statement that I am willing to stand by, what with his being a particularly gitty form of wizardry. However, this could have been libelous. Is he a wizard? Is he a git? That's what I claimed, so under current libel law, it would fall to me to prove that what I said was true. Not easy, since wizardry is impossible and dishonest, so he couldn't actually be defined as a wizard. But is he a git? Well, a git is defined as an unpleasant and contemptible person, so yes. He's a git. But on the entire charge of being a git wizard, well, I mean, I could be in court for years with David Blaine. Which would be awful. Thank you.